Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm back to do a second impressions of Xerjoff Lunosa. So, if you're curious to know more about that, don't go away. So welcome back everyone. As always, before we start the review, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you can support my channel by clicking the subscribe button down below and the bell to be notified of any future content, videos, and giveaways. So, I'm about to do a second impressions of Lunosa. I've been wearing this one all day since yesterday up till today. It's been drying down on my skin. I have gotten kind of a good idea of its character and how it develops over time, over from the top to heart to base. But before we do that, I just want to recap what Lunosa is and kind of what you get from the top and the heart. So Xerjoff Lunosa, just speaking of the presentation alone, this is probably one of the nicest and most gorgeous Xerjoff bottles I have in my collection or have ever encountered. You have this extremely unique, as I mentioned in my first video, very intricate artwork. There's these slits and cuts that go in different directions. And you have this Xerjoff cap, which is a typical Xerjoff cap, very, very heavy, very durable, and very high quality. Now, what I love most about this is the contrast of that gold. And by the way, the gold plate around here is, and the flat cone is plated in 24 karat gold. You have this ruby red stone here that stands out and is really prominent. So just on presentation alone, this bottle will stand out in your collection. It is absolutely beautiful. And as I mentioned previously, all the Xerjoff 1717 stone collection bottles, each stone is hand polished and handcrafted. So what do we get from top to base or from top to heart? Well, this starts out with a duality of neroli and cypriol. The neroli here is green, it's somewhat honeyed with this kind of honey blossom accord and a touch of this bitter, this kind of bitter astringentness with a white floral facet. And the cypriol oil, or the nagamotha, is a very domineering, very dominating, lumbering, earthy accord. So it has that really nice contrast and duality that plays off each other very nicely. I'm gonna spray this again just to remind myself of what I get in an opening. So you get this very dominant, very prevailing tuberose and gardenia, even though it's in the heart. Now, Lunosa is meant to commemorate the like a magical or mystical garden that's settled underneath the moonlight. And it's quite appropriate because think of a garden, you're getting mainly and dominantly apparent tuberose and gardenia as the main focal points of this fragrance. So that is quite appropriate that this is kind of centered around the vision that Xerjoff was trying to encapsulate in this bottle or this fragrance. Now, as it's drying from top to mid, you get this very sensual, rich, kind of alluring Indian tuberose. Now, the tuberose here is unique to Xerjoff because this is Sergio Momo's first composition that has tuberose listed as a note. So this is Xerjoff's first actual tuberose-based fragrance. Now, this actually leans quite feminine on my skin. I don't think it leans very masculine or even unisex in the opening. It actually leans quite feminine. Yeah, it definitely leans feminine. It's definitely an explosion of a white floral kind of bouquet that you get mainly in that heart, and you still get a touch of those of that neroli and cypriol, but as it starts transitioning from top to heart, you get this marriage of tuberose and gardenia. Now, I don't know if you're a fan of white florals, but if you're not a fan of tuberose or white florals or gardenia, you might not like this one. This one might not be for you, but if you do, and you really do like white florals, this fragrance actually might be quite appealing for you. The gardenia here is very sensuous. It's a touch green and powdery. It is very well blended and very well harmonized with that Indian tuberose. Now, you also get this sandalwood here, which is a little bit woodsy. It's rich, it's a touch creamy, and it helps accentuate and complement those other two accords, those floral accords. Now, where I like this fragrance more from the top to heart is the base. Now, the base is where I start liking this fragrance a little bit more. This is where it starts transitioning from more of a feminine leaning fragrance to more unisex. Yeah, so I'm still getting that Indian tuberose and gardenia. Now I have it drying down on my left hand here. So what you get here in the base, mainly for me, and what I like more about it, is you get this tobacco, this sweet, almost cherry pipe tobacco accord that is, for me, quite a standout because I'm someone who loves tobacco and fragrances. You have also this oud, this agarwood, which is not a skanky, it's not an animalic or barnyard oud. It's very voluptuous, it's soft, it's a touch buttery, and it is adding to the complexity and overall kind of layered nuances of this fragrance. And it's complementing that sweet cherry kind of pipe tobacco accord quite nicely. There's also a vetiver note listed here. I don't get any vetiver. If it's there, it's kind of working a little bit off of that cypriol. That's more earthy and a little bit more woodsy, but I don't get any kind of vetiver there. Maybe you do off your skin, but not on mine. The longevity on this one is actually pretty great. I get a little bit over 8 to 10 hours. So far, it's quite a powerful fragrance, but it sits close to the skin. So it's not a projection beast, it's not a sillage monster, but it does sit close to the skin. That being said, it's still able to be detected, so its longevity is pretty good. So where should you wear this fragrance? Well, because of its more, I would say, more elegant and sophisticated nuances, as well as the overall kind of the presentation that goes along with it, I think this one would be better suited in a more dressier, more of a sophisticated occasion where you should match your attire to that specific event or whatever occasion you're going to. I wouldn't say this is a more casual fragrance. I don't think it would work very well in that setting. I think this is more appropriate for fall and winter because of its darker, deeper, more domineering notes. So that being said, do I think this one is worth the asking price of £740? No, I don't. Even though I like the base more than the top and the mid, because the mid for me is very almost linear and it does lean quite feminine. I'm someone who loves fragrances of all different genres and whether it leans feminine or masculine, but this one just leans a little bit too on the almost grandma side smelling for me. It almost smells a little bit grandma-ish in the top and mid. I'm sorry if that offends anyone from Xerjoff, or if you wear this fragrance and you love it, by all means continue loving it. This is not something that should steer you away from it, but for me, this is something that I have to be honest about, and I don't think this is one that I could really wear quite often. So the base for me is really, it's quite lovely, and it's very, it's sensual, and it's kind of, it's voluptuous, but it's not something that I would gravitate towards. My girlfriend even was smelling this one off my wrist yesterday, and she said, it's okay. It's nothing special, it's just okay. And I asked her, do you think this is worth £740? Right away she goes, no. And I would have to agree with her. There are other fragrances from Xerjoff's 1717 Stone collection that I absolutely love and cherish and adore, that I think are far better and even cheaper, like Xerjoff's Richwood, Pico Viodama, Symphonium, Begum. All of those I absolutely love and adore and are some of my favorites in my entire collection. And they are more complex and more layered and even more versatile than Lunosa. So that's why I don't think this one is worth the asking price, unfortunately. Now, if you wear this one and you like it, by all means, like I said, continue wearing it. Now, that being said, I do have a addition to the giveaway. So because this one got quite a number of reviews and likes and comments, I'm gonna do a giveaway to 2 lucky subscribers. So the first one will get the Xerjoff sample pack as shown here, and the second one will get another Xerjoff sample pack that also includes a sample of Lunosa. So that is my way of thanking you guys for supporting my channel, for being so positive, for being so supportive, and loving throughout the time that I've been reviewing so far. So that's it of my review of Xerjoff's Lunosa. Let me know down below in the comments, do you get a similar vibe? Do you get the same kind of accords off of your skin, or do you get something completely different? And also, let me know down below, what is your favorite Xerjoff, both in other collections and also in 1717 Stone collection. So that's it. Thank you all so much for supporting my channel and being so positive as always. I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. As always, thank you and take care of each other. Bye everyone.